Porcio, TopVelocity.net. Pitch analysis here, Zach. We're going to pair him up with Cody Hall. Take Zach into his leg lift. Cody into his leg lift. You can see Cody a lot more inside drive leg. He's going to be picking up momentum faster out of leg lift. You can see when they kind of both get to the same lift leg position out of the leg lift, Cody's a lot farther in his stride at this point. So it's key, getting more momentum early is it's kind of like the plane trying to take off the runway. We've got to start to accelerate our engines. The earlier mover, but also the one who can keep accelerating is going to have more power to launch, right? Similar to what we're trying to do on the pitching mound. So just before leg drive, you can see Cody really closed, and Zach's doing the best he can too. He's really staying internally rotated with the front leg and not opening. I'd say definitely Cody is in more torsion, which is a lot to do with the trunk being so counter-rotated with the hip too, and it keeps that knee more turned towards, say, shortstop for the righty. He's bringing the elbow back as opposed to the palm up. We have to load the kinetic chain like we load a whip. So we're, first of all, we're loading the ankle, then we're loading the knee, then we're loading the hip. So then when we close the shoulder off to get it behind the hip, we're then going to bring the elbow back behind the shoulder. And then eventually when the arm goes to lay back, we're going to bring the wrist behind the elbow. So if we bring the arm up or the hand up first, it disrupts the kinetic chain. It's like with the whip. The first thing I bring up is the handle. If I bring the end of the whip up first, it's going to completely disrupt the ability to really move energy through the whip. So elbow needs to be the first thing after handbrake that really moves into position. Okay, so if we look at with Zach, he stays closed, he goes to push or drive and starts to toe touch front foot strike here, and we see very little power coming through the backside. Some push, some extension, but just not enough power to where he's landing. He's extremely closed, which is good, but there's just a lack of power through the back hip, so we don't see a lot of rotation coming out of this. When the hip opens right here, see the hips are and the arms are going together, so we see that no hip to shoulder separation at all due to the lack of power coming through the back hip. And we watch Cody here as he opens up. Good force off the rubber because he stays loaded into that hip. He's even driving with that trunk counter-rotated. So he gets a lot of time because the trunk is still closed to drive the hip open, and he has power through it. So you see a lot more hip to shoulder separation here. Hips open, shoulders closed. Like I said here, when with Zach, when his hips open right here, very quickly does the arm catch up. Maybe a little bit more separation there, but very catch up at this point. So, and then also too, then the elbow gets in front of the face. And when I see the elbow get that far in front of the face like this, as you can see with Cody's, the trunk carries. That's just a lack of power coming through the backside. Everything is kind of transferring forward early, and the arm is swinging around and trying to drive the movement, and we get in this elbow in front of the face, which puts more stress on the elbow, delays internal rotation. And look where the trunk is for Zach at pitch release, a lot more vertical than Cody here, and that's that launch, that crash of the trunk transferring all that energy off the rubber going forward. You can even see Zach's foot is curving or curling here, kind of like a hitter's front foot, because there's so much more rotational force in the trunk than linear. And these high velocity guys carry a lot more linear force in the trunk, and that also means more kinetic energy getting to the ball, which means less torques in the arm to try to make up for that energy that's not being created in the trunk. So I think Zach, going back to the drawing board, needs to really learn how to get started earlier, build more momentum, get more power of the backside, stays closed to the front side well, but get more power of the backside, how to cock the arm, elbow first, and cock the arm up the kinetic chain as opposed to starting at the end of the kinetic chain by pushing the wrist up, and then just really try to enhance hip shoulder separation and feel that trunk drive and carry forward.